So often we believe that awakening out of the dream state of the separate self comes with some dramatic explosion of energy, some super refined state of consciousness, something spectacular. And this causes us to reach towards that state, which is really in our imagination. It's how we imagine it to be. But the revelation of true self, true nature, the liberation that we seek is so often something much quieter than that. It doesn't come through effort or discipline. It comes through a quiet willingness to meet what is here without resistance. And somehow that's too simple for the spiritual seeker that is in some way identified with the complexities or the discipline of practice, whether it be meditation practice or any other spiritual practice, or attached to understanding through the mind, spiritual ideology, philosophy, concepts. This is too simple. But in its simplicity and directness, it's often out of reach for many spiritual seekers until something quietly falls away, until there's a willingness to meet what is here without resistance. This falling away, it's not something that we have to do. This is so counterintuitive to the self that is seeking something. It's what happens when the effort to hold ourselves together begins to relax. This goes right to the core of the self structure, the separate self structure, which is really a psychological or conceptual structure. Over time, over the human life, as we grow up, as we become adult human beings, we develop a sense of ourselves as something solid, as something continuous, a me self, a me identity that needs to be maintained and protected and often improved. And this is natural. The sense of self is a natural formation within the human experience, and a necessary one in being able to function as a human being. But essentially, it's built of tension. It's sustained by a subtle contraction, a holding in the body and in the mind that keeps experience organized around a center. And so we believe that this is who we are. This core contraction is mostly not questioned, not examined. Because on one level, it's natural. However, if we look more closely, this me, this center that we believe ourselves to be, is not actually solid or stable. It's not continuous. It's made up of a conglomeration, a cluster of thoughts and sensations and emotions and reactions and patterns, which are constantly shifting. It's not that those patterns should be erased so that there's nothing here. It's simply the reinforcement that we give to these patterns, to these movements, that is being invited to fall away. Because it's that reinforcement that gives us a sense of being trapped, imprisoned at some point. We get that sense, usually on the spiritual journey, and we want to break free. And so it's not about getting rid of the self, fixing the self, dismantling the self, destroying the self. It's simply about the willingness to stop reinforcing it. And that doesn't happen through complex practice. It happens by allowing what is here exactly as it is. Very often, if a contraction arises in the mind, or the body, or the emotions, we want to move away from it, or we want to change it because it's uncomfortable. But what if we could meet it with openness, without interference? This essentially is the soft stop. It's this soft stop that reveals a contraction to not be solid. It's not a thing that's stuck in your body. It's not a thing that's stuck in your emotions or your mind. It's actually a movement in the soft stop. That which appears to be so solid reveals itself as more fluid. And in that fluidity, it's contained, if you like, in a much bigger field. And this soft stop allows you to notice the field itself, the space or the awareness in which the contraction appears. And to notice that this space, this awareness is not contracted. Open. Whatever appears in it, within it, is open. It's undisturbed. It's unaffected by anything that arises within it. And this is the profound shift, often a quiet shift, because it starts to loosen the identification with the contraction. It starts to loosen the identification with all appearances. And when all appearances and all contractions are no longer reinforced by resistance, something begins to soften. And very often this is gradual. This is quiet. It's not dramatic necessarily. the tendency, the allure of looking for a dramatic experience so that you can finally say, well, this is it. I've arrived. I've awakened. I'm free. That's such a misdirection, misunderstanding. It's very much like the gradual erosion of a mountain. It may be, for some people, that erosion takes place like an avalanche. But don't look for that. It may or may not, and it doesn't matter either way. What matters is the falling away. What matters is the relaxation of the holding pattern. So that which has always been here, openness, presence, being, starts to reveal itself. It's not an achievement. It's not a state that you've arrived at, but simply the recognition of what's always been here, present, beneath the effort to maintain the illusory solidity of the me identity.